Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're decoding exactly how to handle the two most frequent traffic stops in America, keeping your safety and your legal rights completely intact. We're pulling straight from a comprehensive 50-state guide to give you the exact scripts, the constitutional background, and the step-by-step logic that defense attorneys absolutely want you to know. Let's get right into it.
Seeing those flashing red and blue lights in your rearview mirror? Yeah, it triggers instant anxiety for almost everyone. But mastering a calculated, calm response empowers you right from the jump. You know, what you say in the first 30 seconds of a traffic stop can actually have long-lasting legal consequences. Officers are highly trained to listen carefully, and anything you volunteer can and will be used in court. So our goal today is to equip you with polite, brief, and completely non-incriminating responses. Okay, let's dive into our first situation.
Scenario 1, speeding. Speeding stops are, by far, the most common traffic encounter nationwide. We're talking millions of citations every single year. It really sets the baseline for all traffic stop interactions. Now, to enforce these limits, officers don't just guess. They use some pretty sophisticated instruments. They've got radar guns, LiDAR or laser, pacing, where they physically match your speed, and VASCAR, which is basically a visual average speed computer. Each of these methods has its own margin of error and very specific legal requirements for use. But here's the absolute critical takeaway for us. The roadside is literally the worst place to debate their margin of error.
When an officer walks up to your window and tells you that you were speeding, your immediate human instinct is to argue, right? You want to explain or justify your actions. You've got to completely resist this urge. Instead of arguing, use this exact measured response. Officer, I was trying to maintain a safe speed. I'll be more mindful going forward. It's great because it gracefully acknowledges the officer's concern, it expresses future compliance, and most importantly, it makes absolutely zero admission to a specific violation.
Let's look at why your word choice matters so much here. If an officer asks, "Do you know how fast you were going?" and you just blurt out, "I was just keeping up with traffic," well, you've just provided a spontaneous admission. Legally speaking, you just confessed to speeding. And courts have consistently upheld that these roadside admissions are entirely admissible. Contrast that with our measured response. I'll be more mindful. It says absolutely nothing that can be used against you in court.
So what's the underlying chain of thought reasoning here? Well, speeding stops are the most heavily litigated traffic citations out there. Officers can't verify your actual speed from their memory alone. They have to rely on those instruments we just talked about. And those instruments require meticulous calibration records. Guess what? Those records are subpoenable by your attorney. By saying nothing incriminating at the window, you preserve all of your available legal defenses for the courtroom. Because remember, that's where the burden of proof is actually on the prosecution.
Moving right along to Scenario 2, equipment violations.
This scenario covers things like a broken taillight, a cracked windshield, or maybe excessively tinted windows. While they seem pretty minor, these stops carry a really unique set of risks. To understand the real danger here, we have to define a legal concept known as a pretextual stop. The Supreme Court case Wren v. United States actually established that it's entirely constitutional for an officer to use a minor traffic violation, like that broken taillight, as a legal pretext to pull you over, just to investigate you and your vehicle for other potential crimes. So the officer's true purpose might be entirely unrelated to your car's equipment. Because these minor equipment stops are often just a convenient excuse to look inside your car, it is absolutely crucial to understand the Fourth Amendment. There are exactly 4 legal pathways to a vehicle search: probable cause, consent, search incident to arrest, and plain view. Notice that consent is pathway number 2. If an officer asks to look in your car, they're asking because they don't already have a warrant or probable cause. Never, ever voluntarily give an officer consent to search your vehicle. A polite but firm, "Officer, I do not consent to a search of my vehicle," is your constitutional shield.
Now, if you are stopped for a straightforward equipment fault, say a taillight you genuinely had no idea was burnt out, the best response is simple and cooperative. Just say, "Thank you for informing me, officer. I was not aware of the issue and will have it repaired immediately." It shows you're a responsible driver who was simply unaware of the problem. Because equipment violations are typically minor administrative issues with no criminal intent, this polite approach very often gets you a simple warning instead of an expensive ticket. Window tint requires a slightly more nuanced approach, mostly because the laws vary significantly from state to state. If you get pulled over specifically for your window tint, and you know for a fact that you are within your state's limits for VLT, which stands for visible light transmission, confidently but politely state that exact percentage. If you happen to have documentation from the tinting company in your glove box, offer to show it. It proves right then and there that you are informed and compliant. The underlying logic for handling equipment stops is pretty simple but highly effective. Since these stops are frequently just fishing expeditions, your goal is to be polite, hand over your driver's license, registration, and proof of insurance, and then effectively close the window on the officer's attempt to widen the investigation. If the officer starts asking where you're headed or where you're coming from, remember, you are not obligated to answer. A polite, "I prefer not to answer questions about my personal activities," limits your legal exposure perfectly.
Across both of these incredibly common scenarios, whether it's speeding or equipment violations, the overarching lesson from our source material is crystal clear. The roadside is absolutely not the place to argue facts, debate instrument calibration, or try to litigate your case. The roadside is simply where you remain calm, cooperate physically, and invoke your constitutional rights. The courtroom is the one and only venue where evidence, documentation, and the law actually determine the final outcome. So let's quickly summarize the golden rules for any stop. Stay calm, because nervous behavior often triggers escalation. Cooperate safely by following lawful physical commands and keeping your hands visible on the wheel. Know your rights, specifically your protections under the 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendments. Speak carefully by never volunteering extra information or admitting guilt. Document everything, meaning write down every detail immediately after the stop while your memory is perfectly fresh. And finally, always seek legal advice for serious citations, because a good attorney can properly evaluate the legality of the stop and the evidence stacked against you. Being prepared for a traffic stop is an active responsibility. Your rights aren't just privileges, they are constitutional guarantees. So the next time you see those flashing lights pop up in your rearview mirror, remember these exact scripts, understand the legal strategy behind them, and ask yourself, are you truly prepared to protect your rights?